Setting goals is a critical part of being a successful manager. By setting goals for both their department as well as individual staff members, the manager ensures the department meets or exceeds its corporate objectives. There are two types of goals successful managers set for staff: productivity goals, that is, meeting the relevant production or service objectives set for the department, and personal development goals, that is, goals for improving the skills and abilities of individual team members. We'll cover setting productivity goals in this episode. Hi, I'm Rick Kendall.
And I'm Fred Ball.
Welcome to Management Mastery. The purpose of these podcasts is to share what each of us has learned about good and bad management in our combined over 40 years of experience, both as managers and executive coaches. During that time, we've coached managers at every level in companies from Fortune 100s to brand new startups in all major businesses, including nonprofits, government, and education. So whether you're just starting in your first management position or are an experienced manager looking to strengthen your management skills, we know our podcast will be valuable to you.
Productivity goals are usually very quantitative and generally externally imposed. Usually they are set for the department by corporate management and then passed down by the department manager to their staffs.
These productivity goals often form the core of the performance review process. We'll cover the performance review process in a future episode. A simple but effective way of setting and tracking the goal-setting process is to follow what's sometimes known as the SMART framework. SMART is shorthand for setting goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. So let's discuss each of these elements as they relate to productivity goal setting.
First of all, it's important that a goal be specific, and we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about that because the manager has to spend the time in order to help both the staff member and the manager to understand how it's specific. It's critical that in setting performance goals, whether for an individual or a team, you be as specific as possible about every aspect of the assignment. Failure to be clear on all aspects of the goal can lead to misunderstandings, frustration, and even failure.
Yeah, that's right, Fred. And one approach to ensuring you is to address some key questions. Questions like, what do we want to accomplish? What is it that we want the outcome to be? And it's also important that staff clearly understand why we want to achieve it. That is, what's the purpose of the task? Understanding the ultimate purpose of an assignment goes a long way to giving the staff member ownership of the task.
Another part of this, another set of critical issues that need to be specified at the start of an assignment is to lay out the major steps likely to be needed to accomplish the goal. This helps both the manager and staff member to accurately evaluate the possible resources needed for successful completion of the task. Along with this, it is important to understand how progress should be measured along the way to ensure successful completion. And finally, what will a successful completion look like?
Yeah, another aspect of being specific is to specify all aspects of the project that will be monitored or that are critical to success. That is, what are the kind of, way stations towards completion of the task, so you know what you have to do and what's expected when it occurs.
Rick, I think what you've just elaborated on here, to be specific, is really important. The manager has to take the time to work with the staff member, and frankly, it would be better to have one goal and to really spend the time to get it right, rather than to try and put 2 or 3 goals and do it, in a less than full way.
Absolutely. And it's important that you get feedback from the staff person as you're laying out the task to make sure that they understand and don't have any questions. Because if you don't cover them off at the beginning, then when it comes up, sometimes the staff people are afraid to ask because they think they should know, etc. So you really, really want to be specific. And this leads us to the M in SMART, which is measurable. And it's important that the results of the assignment are quantifiable in some way so that everyone involved knows what success looks like.
Agreed. It should be possible to measure progress as work is done, and that's along the way as well, so that everyone knows whether the assignment is on schedule or not. This helps the staff assigned to the task to stay on track, be accountable, and motivated. Of course, it isn't always possible to have specific progress measures at convenient intervals, but it almost always is possible to have periodic, qualitative progress reports on how the project is going and what is happening. These should happen with any project longer than a few days.
Oh, yeah. You just can't throw it out there and let it happen. And there are, of course, any number of ways that a task or assignment might be measured. I mean, some of the common measures are questions like how much, how many, how soon, by when, or how big, how small. Again, whatever the metric is, it's critical that it's clearly understood and spelled out at the outset of the project, so everyone knows what's expected, what's being counted, what's being measured, etc.
And if the staff member can be involved in that process and actually come up with some of those criteria, that's so much the better.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You want them bought into it. So, and this is a place where staff should be encouraged to tell you, well, I don't know if we can do that. That may be a little bit hard, or we may need more time if that's what you're looking for, etc. And all of that can come out in the setup and being specific and laying out the metrics by which they'll be judged.
No question. And during the course of working on the goal, if that becomes the case, then it's important for the staff member to have that discussion with the manager. In addition to being measurable, the goal must also be achievable. This may seem obvious, but a frank discussion of the achievability of the goal is often omitted at the outset of a project. In particular, it's important to address the several key aspects of the project, such as is staffing adequate? Is there enough time to accomplish the project? Are there enough resources other than staff available? A candid discussion of these issues is important so that everyone agrees that the assignment can be done with the resources and within the time frame specified. Failure to do this can lead to frustration, misunderstanding, and bad performance.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's incumbent on the manager to open the door to the staff person being able to say, well, I don't know if there's enough time to do that, or I may need more help than you're talking about, something like that. Because a lot of times staff are reluctant to say, well, you're asking me to leap a tall building here. So you've got to encourage, show that you're open to those kinds of discussions. Now, it may end up there just aren't the resources, but at least the staff person feels they've been heard. And it's also important that the task be seen by the staff and the manager to be relevant to the objectives of the larger department. The goal should align not only with the department and company goals, but also be seen as worthwhile to the staff member themselves. If it just doesn't seem to be related to anybody, this can easily lead to poor motivation and a lack of seriousness about the assignment. I mean, they think, well, why should I care about this? It doesn't seem it's relevant to anything. So if staff don't feel the assignment is relevant to anything important, they can find it hard to be motivated to carry it out successfully.
I agree. Therefore, it's important that the manager address several issues candidly with the staff working on a particular project. Issues like, is this goal worthwhile? Is it consistent with current business priorities? And can the staff member see why the goal is important to the business?
Right. I absolutely have that discussion so that everybody understands why they're being asked to do what they're being asked to do. And finally, the goal needs to be time-based. This means not only having a clear deadline for completion, but also, to the extent possible, the ability to determine that suitable progress is being made along the way. And this involves regular scheduled meetings to cover progress and address any snags in the process to guarantee that the goal will be achieved successfully and on time.
I agree with that, and I'm going to say it again. One of the major problems that managers have is that they do a good job of setting up the goal in the beginning, but then meetings aren't held with individuals along the way to track progress, and the evaluation at the end of the cycle is very haphazard. It's critical that the manager keeps to this meeting schedule, as failing to do so, as Rick said, can send a message to staff that the task and its deadlines are not important.
Yeah, and you got to look at it from the staff members. When they're handed an assignment, they sort of feel like, okay, I'm out here on my own now, or me and my whoever they've been assigned the task with. And so you want to, as the manager, you want to keep reminding them, no, we're here. We care about what you're doing, and these meetings shouldn't be just seen as you looking over their shoulder and prying into what they're doing, but also giving them support along the way and reestablishing the fact you're interested in this assignment, it's relevant, it's important, and you're available as a resource should they need it. It's also important that you reward staff members who complete the assignment effectively and successfully. And you want to do this, if possible, publicly, to show that you care, show the company values, and to incentivize others who have other tasks to do. You want to work with staff members who fall short by assessing the progress they made, providing help, and suggesting next steps so that they can succeed in the task that was assigned.
We have discussed the importance of setting goals with individuals to ensure that the department is successfully fulfilling its broader functions. We discussed using the SMART framework to ensure that goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. This helps the individual and manager to clearly understand the goals before the process begins, track progress along the way, and evaluate performance at the completion of the task.
We hope you have found this podcast useful and will come back again for more Management Mastery. If you have any comments about this or any of our episodes, or would like to find out more about our other services, including one-on-one coaching and group seminars for managers, visit our website at careercoachclass.com. Thanks for listening.